It was a crisp autumn afternoon in the small town of Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. The leaves had turned vibrant shades of red and gold, and the air carried the faint scent of saltwater from the nearby harbor. Life in the town was quiet, but for the McAllister family, things were about to take an unexpected turn. John McAllister, a widower in his late 40s, had raised his daughter, Emily, on his own since his wife passed away when Emily was just a child. Emily, now 22, had grown into a strong, independent woman, much like her mother. She had recently returned home after finishing her degree in Halifax, and the two had fallen back into their familiar rhythm of life together. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace, Emily turned to her father with a serious expression. "Dad, there's something I need to tell you," she began, her voice trembling slightly. John, sensing the gravity of her tone, set down his cup of tea and gave her his full attention. "Go on, love," he said gently. Emily took a deep breath. "I've been thinking a lot about our future. You've done so much for me, and I want to make sure you're taken care of. But I also want to be happy. And I think I've found a way to do both." John raised an eyebrow, confused. "What are you getting at, Emily?" She hesitated for a moment before continuing. "I've been seeing someone who makes me feel loved and secure. And I want to marry him. But there's a catch." John's heart sank. He had always known this day would come, but he hadn't expected it so soon. "Who is it?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Emily looked him straight in the eye. "It's Thomas. Thomas from the general store." John's eyes widened in shock. Thomas was a kind man in his late 40s, a widower like John himself. He had always been a good friend to the family, but this was unexpected. "Emily, are you sure about this?" John asked, his voice filled with concern. He's closer to my age than yours." Emily nodded firmly. "I know it's unconventional, Dad, but I love him. And he loves me. We want to build a life together. And I want you to be a part of that life too." John sat in silence for a long moment, processing her words. Finally, he sighed and reached out to take her hand. "Emily, all I've ever wanted is for you to be happy. If Thomas makes you happy, then I'll support you." Tears welled up in Emily's eyes as she threw her arms around her father. "Thank you, Dad. That means the world to me." The wedding took place a few months later, in the small church by the harbor. The town buzzed with gossip, but Emily and Thomas paid no mind. They were too focused on each other and on the new life they were building together. As for John, he found himself with a new role in life, not just as a father, but as a father-in-law to a man who had once been his friend. It was an adjustment, but one he was willing to make for the sake of his daughter's happiness. And so, life in Lunenburg went on, with its quiet rhythms and unexpected twists. But for the McAllister family, it was a new chapter, one filled with love, understanding, and the promise of a brighter future.